Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Football Manager 2023 as we continue our Road to Glory run with Banbury United F.C. now in League 1 after our very successful promotion. Not just promotion, winning League 2. So we have won 3 leagues, all 3 of the previous leagues. So now our sights are set on winning League 1, I guess. We can't get through the playoffs. We've got to win it. Very excellent season, honestly. I know I got a little bit down towards the end of that season because of just stuff that was going against us, but because I knew we deserved it. We deserved that win, and we did ultimately pull it off. I mean, we had to have some luck from Knox County slipping up a bit. Who's coming up with us? I mean, we're going to get to see them again to say thank you. But let's go ahead and get into the season review and transfer special. I think this is going to be a tough transfer special, but let's get into it. All right, here we are. Banbury United end of season review for the 2028-2029 season. There's our beautiful trophy right there. Looking very good. The new arrivals. We had quite a few. Katongo, excellent new arrival. 24-year-old center back. We're going to have him for a good amount of time. I mean, he's currently 3.5 stars. I mean, could still improve a little bit potentially, but he played well there. Will he play well at the next level? I don't know. It's hard to tell. We will find out. Foran, another solid center back coming in here. I mean, look at these. Both those guys were A pluses from the board. They love these. Yeah, if we could trigger both these minimum release clauses at some point, then that would be some nice profits for us. Hurd coming in here as a solid midfielder, attacking midfielder option. He came in pretty late. We only got him 9 starts, but he got 4 goals, 3 assists. 7.08 average rating, 575k release clause for him. So good stuff there. I mean, all 3 of these guys are looking really strong right now. Hazeman, not such a great one. Started quite a bit. 7.02 average rating is pretty solid. 12 assists, really good. They did like the fact that we didn't have to pay a transfer fee for him, but I mean, they're just content. Nothing's exciting there. Kyer comes in here, B-. Dickinson, they didn't like that one. That was just one that my director of football signed, so don't blame me. But I thought he did okay. 6.96 overall average rating, 4 goals, 2 assists. Truth be told, I'd love to bring him in on full time if we can. He still hasn't signed a new contract with his current squad. I just can't. Don't have an option to sign him to an end of season contract or anything like that. Harry Hagen here getting an A+ on that one, so good stuff there. He came in pretty late as well. 6.94 overall. So we got a really solid set of center backs there. Hey, we could do a flat back 7 or something crazy like that if we wanted to. Why would we do that? I don't know. They did like the senior deal, obviously. 28 goals on 33 starts. Tons of appearances. 6. I mean, he did well. He was, I mean, not very good facilitator otherwise. So he only got good ratings when he scored. But 28 goals, can't complain about that at all. McCabe was an emergency signing. Somehow they did still like that one. I'm surprised about that. I guess he's on his 4 total appearances. He did all right. Matheson, obviously a solid signing that we picked up. We were very happy to have him. Paid a little bit of money for him. Not too bad about that though. And he did get all right. Phillips, he was kind of just thrown in there, honestly. Really never used him. So if we could sell him on, I think I'd be okay with releasing him or selling on whatever we had to do. Leslie, I like Leslie. He played quite a bit. Not the most amazing rating in the world. I mean, I suppose we could move him on if we really felt like he just wasn't going to develop. He does still have a full star's worth of development, but from what this says. So, yeah, never know. Isaac Smith, we didn't really play him as a starter that much, but he substituted a lot and did all right in that substitute role. I mean, bring somebody on as a substitute getting 6.84 rating. I'm okay with that. Marshall, another emergency signing. They apparently like that all right as well. Okek here, huge release clause for him. He's actually starting to fall off a bit with his development. So maybe a player that we should move on. Maybe we should look at some of these players that are not, especially someone who only got a 6.6. Honestly, I think he's a good value, good person to consider moving on. Adedokin really didn't play for us at all. I mean, just really didn't show up, didn't do anything good for us. need to get rid of him. And he's worth basically nothing to us right now. Klee, we definitely want to try and keep him around, see if we can get him to develop at all. Although he's starting to drop off as well. He's starting to go the route of Kai Jones. So maybe we got to get rid of him while we can still get something for him. Akers is just back up. Who cares about him? Francis didn't really play well in his substitutes. He's also kind of starting to drop off. Maybe some of these players that we think are starting to drop off that look like they might not be reaching their potential. Maybe we start considering moving some of these guys out of here. Transfers out. Anybody that they just absolutely hated the transfer out for? Not really. I mean, they seem to be fine with pretty much all of these. Yeah, I mean, they were what they were. Nothing special here. It looks like to speak of. I guess they liked the decision to loan up Max Allen. Decent potential. I mean, we'll see what he can do. Rattray, obviously, a lot of potential. Still not. A lot of these guys aren't developing super well, so I don't know. We'll keep an eye out for things, but final position, first position, average home attendance is 44.95, and not half bad. 90%, almost 90% full. So good money for coming from that. Obviously, top goal scorer was Rob Senior. Board was extremely happy with that. FA Cup, they were okay with. Carabao Cup, they were okay with. And Papa John's Trophy, they were okay with. I mean, I would have liked to have done a little bit better than some of these, but that's all right. And that's obviously how the league table ended up. Moments to remember. The biggest win was against Doncaster, 7-2 win against Doncaster. Absolutely dominant. We went out there and took care of business big time. Match to remember was our Papa John's Trophy match against Crawley. Got the 3 goals there from Clee, Katongo, and Charles. Good to see Clee getting some goals. Goal of the season was Richie from 27 yards out. Okay, so let's go look at this one. It's the first one of many goals from our center backs. And here comes the Richie one. Okay, that's a pretty good goal. He's pretty far out there, and he got like one little touch to get it in front of him, and then nailed it. Yeah, that's a good goal. Good stuff. All right, the finances. Overall reputation did not change. No new sponsorships of any kind. We did make a bit more on the overall sponsorship money. Made less broadcast revenue money because we made it further in the, I guess the Papa John's was the one, I think. More corporate hospitality money, though. More match day, commercial, and retail, and a little bit less competition. So we didn't go as far as some of the championships, but we got more money because we have a bigger stadium now. Things like that add up. Herd was the number 1 shirt sold. Really? And then Richie, Charles, Alibi, and Taberner. Wow. They really just like that attacking midfield. I mean, this is our, left, right. I mean, sometimes middle, but also could be attacking midfielder anywhere. These are our attacking midfield, not our strikers. These are our attack. That's interesting. How we lined up. Obviously, Senior up front, Richie on the left, Taberner on the right, Charles in the middle. Yep, that sounds about right. Hazeman and Alibi. That looks pretty solid. Harrington. I mean, I could think Chizoba would have been fine here as well. Matheson on the right hand side, McNabb, of course, Ferran and Katongo. Yep. I really don't disagree with this at all. I think Harrington started to look a little bit better towards the end there for sure. Yeah, this is a good lineup. Got the league manager of the month for the month of January. Club awards. Fans player of the season was Katongo. Okay. Young player of the season was also Katongo. Signing of the season was Katongo. Goal of the season, we saw that was Richie. Top goal scorer, of course, was Senior. Most assists was Hazeman. Okay. Most player of the match awards was Senior with 6. Highest average rating was Katongo with 7.3. And most passes completed was Katongo. Most clean sheets by a player in a season. McNabb at 14 clean. Did he really have 14 clean sheets? Good job. Youngest goal scorer was Sonny Clee at 18 years and 93 days. I really hope that he'll develop into something. I hope he does not go the way of Kai Jones. Although we should probably go check on Kai Jones, see how he's looking right now. History in the making, of course. Your hard work and effort paid off on the pitch. And such feat didn't go unrewarded at our end of season awards ceremony. Once Banbury got rolling midway through the season, it looked hard to stop them going on to this success. Yeah, I mean, fairly accurate. There's our manager thing. So here we are, coming on board. I mean, none of this stuff up here matters. Here we are on Banbury, right? Looking good here. Vanarama National North winners. Vanarama National winners. And the last but not least, Skybet League 2 winners. We got the message that we're going up a couple days before, but took care of business in the end. So 3 total trophies. I love it. Oh, love it. There is our Banbury overall best 11 squad. 6 players added to the Banbury overall best 11. Matt Harrington picking up the best 11 on the left as a starter. Okay. Hickman's still on the right. Interesting. McAvoy. I mean, obviously McNabb's in here. But he was in there last season. Oh no, he got here this season. Sorry. Nuttall as a backup. Okay. Charles as a backup. Okay, I guess that's fine. Alibi also as a backup, and Oyedel taking the starting spots. 3 guys taking the starting spots. Harrington, McNabb, and Oyedel. Okay. Pollock's still our best striker. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, Pollock did some good stuff for us while he was here early on, to be fair. Best 11, where are they now? Let's see here. And I normally ignore these in some of my previous saves, but this one actually might come and start being more interesting. 6 members of the team are now retired. The rest continue to be involved in football. Hayes, Green, Steve, Richard are still with the club. Blair is currently playing for Gillingham. McAvoy is at East Fife. Harkin is at Havant and Waterlooville. And Dom Jeffries plays for Boston United. Yeah, cool stuff. We already looked at the season review. Side of 2023. Yeah, cool. All right. Anything else we need to look? I mean, let's go look at the squad. Let's go look at where we're at. Overall average rating. I mean, anything below 6.9, we're at least going to think about. Probably need to be at least a 6.8 or higher to really be considered sticking around for any length of period. So that really puts pressure on. I mean, Francis just really has not showed up and done anything, and he's starting to drop off on his development. If we can get him sold for anything, I think we take the profit at this point and move on with our merry lives. So, I mean, he hasn't played a lot for us, so that might be part of the drop off, to be fair. But in fact, we can go look at the reports for progress. Tactics progress. I mean, he has gained half a star since in the last year. So overall development has gone up. He's just dropped a little bit off here at the end. So maybe I don't read too much into this. Yeah, I mean, this is tiny drop off here. Yeah, I don't think I read too much into this after all. Oh, see, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the, over the last, honestly, I think 6 months ago is probably a better one to look at. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot more shifts upwards. Cobble still dropped, but mostly shifts. Okay, now I think this is more useful. I don't know why it doesn't show it on this screen. I mean, I can go all time. I mean, he's actually gained a full point on long shots. Yeah, okay. I think we'll go 6 months to kind of see what he's done most recently. I think we try and keep Francis around then. So maybe we can develop into something. Akers, I mean, I don't care what happens to Akers. He's a here. He's a thing that exists. Clee's the one I really want to look at though. Progress for Clee. Oof. That is very 2. He's basically not stayed at 2. Really not growing in any way. And over the last 6 months, not much at all. I mean, all time, barely any movement other than his physicals. I think Clee is someone we consider moving on. I think he's just not looking too good for me. And he's not worth that much. I don't know that we get much more for him than that, though. If he doesn't develop, he's not going to be turning anything. I think we try to get what we can for him. Shoo. I think we come over here and we transfer list him. And we try to get... I'd love to get like top dollar for him if we can. So, I mean, I'd rather not start at 7K. We're going to try and bump this up as high as we can without making him unhappy. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give him 75K. I mean, I doubt we get 75K for him, but we'll try. All right. Klee potentially goes. Heckman's got a lot of development as well. Potential. Not actual, but potential. So let's see what his progress looks like. 6 months ago, I think is probably what we're really looking for here. Not a lot of anything, huh? I mean, he's 2 there, 2 here still. At least it's starting to go up. I might keep him around to see if we can get anything from him going forward. He's just kind of been fairly stagnant, but at least it's starting to go up a little bit lately. Adadokin, I think, goes away. He's just not good enough for us. He's also been transfer listed by request. What value can we get for him? I mean, he's worth nothing to us. I mean, I'm going to put him at solid at his. I mean, there's literally worth nothing to us. So sure, give us something because it's better than, I guess, not getting any money for him at all. Who else we got? Okay. Okay. Again, also last 6 months, not super good. Yeah, I think we move him on as well. He's already been transfer listed. We're going to put him up to the 300K. Bump that up until he starts being angry. 2, 3, 4. Go 500K. Wow, that's a lot. If I got even close to 500K for him, I would be ecstatic. I doubt that's ever going to happen. McNabb, even though McNabb didn't do so good on the average rating overall, I'm keeping him. I like McNabb. I mean, maybe someday, maybe we do need to start looking at a potential better one. But honestly, he is getting better. He started the season a year ago at 3.5. Yeah, he's getting better. He didn't perform that well all the time, but I definitely think he's worth keeping around. Hayes Green. Hayes Green's really not worth much to us. I mean, he's not really going to develop that much more in anyway. I'm not really going to look at that. So I think he's another guy that we try to move on if we can. Yeah, he's okay with that. And just bump this up until he starts being angry. Something like that. I mean, if we got 95K for him, I would be ecstatic about that as well. I doubt we're getting anywhere close to this much for any of these guys. Marshall's obviously not ours. Harrington. Got Harrington, Chizoba, Isaac Smith. Really, my solid cutoff is Phillips. Anything down below that? I'd say anything 6.8 above. I think we keep Harrington for now. Although probably a good thing to look at is just his development. I mean, it's not going down. It's not really going up. I think we keep him around though for now. We'll just take a look at real quick, these guys' development, see if anybody just looks like they're having a bad development over the last few months. I mean, stagnant, we'll give them another chance if they perform somewhat okay. I mean, Oyedel. Oyedel's actually gone down over the last few months overall. Maybe Oyedel's the kind of guy we look to move on when he's worth a lot of money to us. Okay, he's not going to like that. So that's okay. We'll keep him. I'm okay with keeping him. I just wanted to see if there's people we can get money for. Let's take advantage of that, right? Where we can. Zito's not worth hardly anything. I think he's already transfer listed too, isn't he? Yeah. Way above his value, huh? I mean, we start getting to these low numbers, then is it really even worth selling these guys? This guy's worth nothing to us. I mean, I guess if he's only worth 1,000 pounds, then should we really be keeping him? Someone who's worth 1,000 pounds is not going to be worth keeping in this next league up. Leslie, I think the Leslie will be the last one we're going to be looking at here. I mean, that's fine. I think we keep Leslie. I mean, he's basically stagnant, but maybe we step up. He'll get a little bit better development in a higher league. Who knows? I mean, it could hurt him actually, but we'll try that. Lawson, do we care about Lawson? Lawson, I mean, he just exists right now. He just exists. We already have a transfer thing on him, right? We have a transfer thing on him, but we're not got him set as a transfer option. Ormerod really just, I haven't been impressed with Ormerod at all. He does terrible in training. So honestly, he's always mad when I correct him too in his training. You know what? I think he moved. I think he leaves. If we can get anything for him, I think he goes bye-bye. I mean, there's no way we get 100,000 for him, but that would be amazing. All right. Anybody else? I mean, these guys are still on loan. I'll think about them later. Did I already look at Francis? Yeah, he's been going up mostly. All right. Well, I'm going to do a little bit more of this. I was just kind of bringing you guys along for a little bit of this, but that's kind of the idea. We're going to try and sell some of the guys that we maybe can get some profit from. I still would like to try and keep Dickinson. I don't think it's just ever going to happen. We can't do that. And he's still, I don't know how to trigger this. How can we not talk to him and say, hey, we would love to keep you around for next season. Would you like to come join us instead? But it does not seem like that is ever an option, which is fine. But we'll be back once there's more news about the transfer stuff. Well, I'm back. Don't have any new players in yet, but it looks like we're going to be losing a player. Lewis McNabb is not happy with me. Something about promises that I promised him. I don't remember what it was. Probably, if I had to guess, something about probably training facilities or something like that. Most of the promises I offer, I usually come through on, like getting promoted or things of that nature. I'm not sure. I honestly don't remember what promise I gave him. Can we see that actually somewhere in here? Yeah, training facilities. So both him and Nuttall are not happy about the training facilities not getting improved. I'm assuming if we come over here and try to improve them now. Training facilities. We got over $1 million in the bank. We'll see if that works. But needless to say, he is very angry. Does not want to stick around. Has no intention of at all. Just does no intention of staying. So we got an offer for up to £475,000 for him, which his release clause is £450,000. So this doesn't quite meet that. I could hold off and just force the release clause thing. Force somebody to give me a $450,000 release clause, for £450,000 release clause. What is his contract actually up? His contract's not up until next year. I could force him to stay. He'd be unhappy for a while, but eventually he probably would get over it. Do we even know of any goalkeepers that would be worth anything to us? I mean, that guy looks pretty good. Oh, he's already transferring. Boo. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. But it does seem to look like we could get somebody halfway decent for not an arm and a leg here. I'd prefer somebody younger, like Mahady here, potentially, right? He's very, very cheap, has a good amount of potential as well. He's behind McNabb, but I mean, he could potentially do a McNabb and grow into that. We go for someone like a Harry Lee. It's a little bit more expensive, but he's better right now. In fact, he's probably as good as McNabb right now. Let's see if we can do a comparison here. Honestly, Harry Lee looks pretty solid. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but similar. 6.85 last season in League Two. He's played a couple games, a couple appearances in Peterborough in the championship. I mean, he didn't do so good in League One way back here. But I mean, that was a few years ago. Presumably he was not as developed, not as good. He might be somebody worth going after. Setford could be a decent one. I might go after this Harry Lee guy. I don't know. He looks pretty appealing. I wish we could go after this guy. I wish he wasn't already like leaving here in a bit, because that would be an awesome guy to pick up. But yeah, I think we go after this Harry Lee guy. I mean, if we can pick him up, honestly, if we pick him up for 20K, I'd be happy with that. Really, I mean, it's within the realm here of what we would expect. Okay, well, let's give him, I don't know. I mean, I'd give him as much as definitely 75K. Moral of the story is, I think we can get somebody. Maybe not immediately as good as McNabb. But if he hates us, he's not happy right now. If we go to, I mean, the dynamics, I think he's going to be, no, I still say he's unhappy. So, and apparently has too many promises broken and things like that. Whatever. It's about the training facilities. I should not have. Next time I won't promise that. But sometimes you're scrambling to get people. You just promise whatever you can and deal with the repercussions later, which is now. So, I don't know. And where is he going? Burton, who is League Two. So they're actually below us. I could say no and push the issue on the release clause. But are we going to get a better deal than $475,000 for him? Like, seriously? If I were to, I mean, he could be worth as much as $750, but honestly, $475 is right down the middle of that guide value. I don't think we're going to get much better than that. And if we get another goalkeeper for $75K, that's another $400K to spend on other players. I think we have to take this. He's unhappy. It's a decent deal. We can spin that around and get some other people. I think we've got to take that. It's scary. That means we have basically no goalkeeper right now. I mean, we have a 2-star goalkeeper, I think, who has no development ahead of him. So, a bit scary. We do have to get us another goalkeeper for sure. So I'm going to be doing that. We're going to be getting us a new goalkeeper, guys. I'll let you guys know, but hopefully this one doesn't come back to bite us in the rear end someday. But again, it's hard to keep somebody who's just absolutely unhappy and has no trust in us at all. We'll be back. All right, we are back, and definitely some work has been done. Yeah, today is the first day of the first regular season game, so I've gone through all of the preseason and everything like that. There's still some more I'd like to do. I mean, we have a team. It's not necessarily like an amazing team. It's probably a pretty good League Two team, quite frankly. We have a better team than we had last year, by just a little bit, I would say. So it'd be a good League Two team, things like that. But it's just not. I don't know where it's going to stack up against this level until we really get in here, obviously. So let me just move my camera out of the way. As you can see, we did transfer out. This is going back to last season because a lot of this was tacked on to the end of last season before it kind of flipped over. But total, counting last season, we transferred out 1.2 million and transferred in 375,000. So we made a good profit there. And then for this side of this season, it's 205,000. So, about 1.4 mil. And then we transferred in 375. So net gain of about £1 million. That's not bad. We don't have that £1 million anymore because one of the things we did do, we did lose a couple players because they were mad that we have not improved our training facilities. So we did ask the board to do that, and they did agree. So they took us about $750,000 of our finances to get that going. So you can see a big spike up here. Got up to close to basically right at $1 million and then it dropped back down once they started working on the training center. So, I mean, it would have been nice to keep that money around, but I think we'll still be okay. So, not to worry about it. We still have a lot of transfer budget. I'm not planning on spending all of this transfer budget. We still have a good chunk of wage budget. I'm not really planning on spending all of this wage budget. So, yeah. So that's where we're at. Let's go look at what we did. So again, go back to last season. I think the last thing I talked to you guys about was the Kai, or if we talked about Kai Jones. I don't remember if we talked about Zito. No, we didn't. Adadukin and Zito just went away for just piddling amounts. I mean, they're not worth anything to us at this point. So we got something for them. I mean, it was really almost not even worth the effort. We got that. We did talk about the McNabb sell. The McNabb sell could go as high as £475,000. He wanted to leave. He was one of the ones that wanted the training center. He was mad that we didn't get it. He was asking to leave, and I turned around basically and flipped his money for another goalkeeper, probably around the same level. Maybe not the same potential, but like maybe around the same current level. And then I also got I think I got a striker with it as well. So we'll go take a look at that in a minute. But I flipped his money for at least two people. So I think that was an okay piece of business. I guess we'll find out. You'll see a few people here and there that are going out on a loan, so they'll just be scattered about. We then sold Hagen for $175,000, could go up to $230K. I mean, Hagen did decently well for us. I mean, he only played about 21 games, but overall, he was fine. I mean, I would have kept him if we could have, but he wanted to leave, and we got some money for him. So sometimes that's all it takes is somebody's desire to leave and somebody coming in for some money. The big thing with Okekir, I probably would have liked to have kept him as well. Even though he didn't play super well for us last season, I felt like he had some good potential. The biggest reason I sold him, and I even sold him for a bit less than I think we probably could have gotten for him. But the biggest reason I sold him is because he had a clause in his contract when we got him that his wage would always match the highest earner. So he went from like a £1,000 or £1,500 wage to like 3.2K per week when we brought in a new guy, the striker we brought in, I think it was. So I was like, man, he's just suddenly got expensive just for existing. And I didn't know if I really liked that idea of him being like that. He was not, to me, not worth 3.2K per week. So getting rid of him, selling him out, he wanted to go anyway. We got a little bit for him, and we got his wage off of the. I don't know why the odds so bad. We got his wage off the books. So that was good. I guess I know why the odds are so bad. It's extremely late because I've been working on this transfer stuff all night. I mean, 3.2K per week is what? 15K per month. And you add that up over the course of, 10 months, something like that, I think, for a season. 9-10 months. I mean, it's called another 150K that we're saving ourselves. So, 300K plus, it's not too bad, I think, to it's kind of in the middle of this. I mean, we're never going to get 1 million for him. We might have been able to get 250 versus the was it 175 we sold him for, or I forget what we sold him for now. Yeah, 175. So I don't know. We might have gotten squeezed out a little bit more if we'd been a little bit more patient, but like I said, I really wanted to get his wage off the books, and that is that. So far this month, I haven't talked about the ends. We'll talk about the ends in a second. So far this month, it's been mostly just loans. People like Leslie, St. Louis, Kair, Heckman, Sonny Klee goes out, Alfie King, Lawson, Rattray, Al. I mean, several of these guys we've loaned out before. A couple of these guys we decided to go ahead and loan out now that we maybe didn't loan out before. And the other big one was Nuttall. Nuttall was alongside. He had the same agreement as McNabb. And he wanted to leave because we had improved the training facilities. Even though I got the board to agree to improve the training facilities, they both were still unhappy. So we needed to get something for him. He was unhappy. He was bringing everybody down. So 190K, I mean, again, transfer value, take it for what you will if you want. But I think I'm okay with it. Technically, I was going to put him behind Richie to start off with. And I have Alibi behind him, who I think is turning into a really good player. So even though Nuttall did good stuff for us last season, I think we're going to be okay. I think we can recover that between Alibi and Richie. And if not, We'll find out. And I have some other players that can move around that may be able to fill that spot as well. So we'll see. But we've had him since the Vanarama National League. And honestly, he did good stuff for us. 7.136.197. Not unhappy, but getting him for free and then selling him on. I mean, at some point, we've just got to realize that that is how we're going to make things happen. We're going to get cheap players that can do well, or at least well enough for what we need, and then sell them on for a couple $100,000 later on to ultimately fuel the growth that we need. So I think this is okay. But we'll go from there. All right, so coming in, we did bring in one very expensive player. We'll talk about him. And then we also brought in the goalkeeper that I talked about. We'll start with the goalkeeper. Jaycock, maybe? I don't know. Zach here. I'm actually just going to change your name to Zach because I don't know how to say your last name and it just sounds weird. Set nickname. We're just going to call you, you know what? We're going to call you Zach Attack because I think that's close to what you were sounding like before. So Zach Attack here is 3.5 star. Just already set there. 3.5 star current, 3.5 star potential. 28 years old, so he's a bit older. But, you know, sometimes goalkeepers, I mean, they get into their prime around this time period. I mean, 28 is probably a good prime for him. So I'm okay with that. Yeah. I mean, I think he'll be okay. We'll see how it goes. I don't think he's a downgrade from McNabb by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he just doesn't have the growth. So eventually we do want to get a goalkeeper that can grow. Obviously, our two backups right now are just placeholders. Neither one of them is going to be anything long-term. But he will definitely, I think, get us through this season, and I'm okay with that. So good old Zach Attack there comes in, and so we paid very little for him. And then the extra money we had left over from the McNabb trade basically went into Kamara here. So Kamara comes in here as a starting striker for us. 3.5 star, could go a little bit better, could get a little bit better to 4 star. 26 years of age, so he's got a little bit more experience with under his belt than some of our other guys. I mean, the big thing is 12, 13, 11 across dribbling, finishing, first touch. Not bad. I mean, overall physicals, not too bad. I think this guy's going to be pretty good for 6 foot tall, so he's got, you know, pretty good height there. Jumping reach, no, you know, it's okay. Heading's not great, but he's not really here for the heading, so I think we're going to be all right. So there we go. That is the big. That's what we did. We sold McNabb, got the guy in the front and guy in the back. You know, goalkeeper and striker. We'll see how these guys get along, but I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, we're paying him a lot of wages. I already told you, 3.2K per week, because that's one of the reasons why OKEX wage went up. But I think this guy's going to be okay. He's already done a little bit for us. He's already gotten one goal in during the preseason. We played some tough teams. We played some Premier League teams, stuff like that. So he's already got one goal. But I will say, we also got another player, and I think you might have seen him. I don't know if you saw him while I was flirting around, but there he is right there. We'll come back to him. We know him, obviously. The only other people that we brought in were... okay, you guys would have seen Hurd, because obviously we had him towards the end of the season. So we got Brandon Sturge here. Good old Zach Sturge. He comes in here, 3-star current ability, could go up to 3.5 star, 25 years of age. So a little bit of experience under his belt. Good stuff there. He comes in here as another option on the left-hand side. Obviously, we know that Chizoba does typically go on international leave, and that only leaves Harrington. So he comes in here to give us some more flexibility. I mean, his recent stuff, not super great, but if he doesn't work out as a start primary, we got Chizoba and Harrington up there, and he can be a backup. We'll figure something out. I think he's still going to be worthwhile to use for something, and we got him on a free. Hemling comes in here as an attacking midfielder on the right-hand side. Not necessarily a lot of potential right now, or not a lot of ability right now, but he's got decent potential. 24 years of age. I actually don't expect, I was going to say I don't expect to see anything here. He's coming basically from a championship team, and he was on a free to Colchester last season, but he didn't play for them except for one appearance. So I think we'll see what he does. Really, he's just another. We want to keep cycling in development players, and so he comes in here as that type of option. Mabaya comes in here as a midfielder option. He can also play as defensive midfielder. He can play technically defender on the right. So we do have a little bit of flexibility between him and Oyedel. Both of them can play as a wing back. But I don't know. I think he's going to be a good option. He's right up there with Oyedel and this new guy Chilvers, which we're going to take a look at in a moment. 24 years of age, could still develop into something a little bit better. Really has not played at all. He played 5 games for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League on a 6.2. Well, we're 2 levels down below that. Surely we can get him closer to a 7.0 at this level. He may not be a Premier League level player, but I would have to imagine that he's going to be at least something for us down here. We then brought in Mahady here, who we then obviously I think we talked about sent out on loan. I don't see him over here, but Mahady comes in here as another goalkeeper. He would be maybe a long-term option for us that could potentially be better than good old Zacatec here, and we'll see. But we need to get him some time, so that's why we went ahead and loaned him out right away. Where is that? Wait, I know it's on here somewhere. I just realized my face is probably covering up some of the stats and stuff, but hopefully it's not covering up too much. There he is. Okay. Yeah, he went out to Boston United. So, that's right. We brought him in and they wanted a loan back. That's exactly what happened. So he went out on a loan back to Boston United. That's fine. Get him some development while he's there, and then we'll have him for the future. We already talked about Camara. We brought in Bradley Foster here, who I'm not seeing on my list of players. I don't remember what he came in here for. Oh, no. He's one that my director of football brought in. I was like, okay, whatever. We'll pay a peddling amount for somebody that can, either him or Akers will end up being a backup. If it just absolute emergency, worst case comes down to it. Obviously, if we have a long-term injury, we cannot rely on them. A single game, I don't know, whatever. Maybe it'll work. So I'm not too worried about those guys. We already talked about the outs, so let's talk about the couple players we brought in on this side of the date line, if you will, in July here. Obviously, we talked about Dickinson. We know Dickinson very, very well. He's here. At first, we tried to get him. He wanted a very, very high wage. We waited till the end of the summer. Like you saw in July, we were kind of closer to the end. And by then, he settled down a little bit and said, okay, you know what? I'll take whatever you want to give me. We started Camara through all of preseason, and we brought in Dickinson about halftime, around about there. And he got 1 player of the match and 4 goals in 5, appearances, basically. I guess he didn't start, but he played the same amount of time as Camara, basically. So maybe Dickinson is our starter. He's obviously extremely good. He obviously knows us very well. Maybe Dickinson fits into that starting spot over Camara. I do think Camara has a lot of potential, a lot of ability as well. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. We do have Chilvers here, a new guy. He's 28 years old, so another kind of older guy, but he looked like a solid player overall. 3.5-star current ability. He's not really going to get much better. We are paying him a lot of money, but he just looked like a solid option either as an attacking midfielder, can play on the wing on the left, can play on the wing on the right. Probably could be eventually trained. Well, I don't know if we train him as a defensive midfielder this late in his career, but I don't know. Is he going to be any good? Well, he played in League 2 for Colchester the last 2 seasons and got 7.0s pluses. All the way back down to Vanarama National League with them, he was getting 7.0 pluses. So he looks like he could be okay, and maybe he can step up to this level and be just fine. We'll give him a shot, and we'll see what happens. And then the most recent person we brought in is, I think, the only loanee we have in so far. And it's just another option as a right back. Technically, he can play center, and he can also play left. So he just gives a little bit more flexibility. We did pay a little bit of money for him because we had to pay for a work permit, which is £20,000. Was that worth it? I don't know. The guys could be worth as much as $700K. We get him on, relatively okay wage. Nothing too crazy there. And he just gives us more options on that right side specifically. Although, again, Oyedel and Mabaya, who are technically midfielders, is what we brought him in for. They can also substitute in a pinch as well. McCabe could be a good long-term option. He's just not quite there right now. Obviously, Ormerod is also not there. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe it wasn't. I really just don't know until we really get into there and get some more game time with him. I'm trying to get a couple more loanies coming in now. In fact, I can go show you that as well. We've got 2 guys that are attacking midfielders on the right-hand side. I do like Taberner a lot. I think he's great. Just feel like we might need a little bit more strength. So these guys are extremely good attacking midfielders. I mean, you can see this guy, McCallum. He is better than Senior. He's better than Dickinson. He's better than Hurd. I mean, he's better than all these guys. So he would be an amazing person to bring in if we can get him in on a loan here. And then the other guy is Trent Hurd, not to be confused with other Hurd. We'll have to find a way to differentiate those two. He's not quite as good as the other guy, but he's got a little bit more potential. So maybe, who knows, maybe over the course of the season, he develops into a better player. But he's obviously a bit of a step up for us on this right-hand side. So I think he would be good for us if we could bring him in as well. You guys could tell me if this was a mistake or not. I did have an option to bring in this guy right here. Klaus Betts, striker, 4.5 star, could go as high as 5 star. I had a chance to bring him in on a loan. Now the loan was 30% of his wages, so basically $3,000 per week. I think it was like $2,700 or something like that. But they also wanted some monthly fee, and I think I got them down to like a 20, or I think I did around $30K monthly fee for him playing time. So that's $30,000 a month. Again, we probably play 10 months, I think. So that's what, $300,000 plus paying, a couple $1,000 for his wages. I'm not too worried about the wages, because if we didn't get him, we just go find us our own striker. Would you pay? I mean, I think he's definitely worth that. I have no doubt he's worth that. I mean, he's extremely good. Do we need that at this level? I don't know. I don't know if they'll let me go for it again. Let me see. They might let me go for it again. Let's see if I bump this up to, I think they were going around, because I locked these two in, because I can't pay any higher than that. My board won't let me. But if I lock these into around, if I go around 30, let's go 30. So they want 37.5. I guess you come down at all. No, they're pretty unhappy with coming down at all. I mean, I don't know. Would you pay that much for this guy? We have money available in our transfer budget, but this is like half our transfer budget for a guy that's just here on loan. But he's extremely good. Extremely good. And one good thing about him is he does allow us to move like Dickinson either to the left wing or the right wing, or Kamara can go down there. I mean, we have a lot of good options to move some people around. He's extremely good. I mean, we're never at our level. We're not going to get a player that can play. That's at worth in the 5 to 8 million pound range right now. That's championship level player right there, or maybe even low Premier level, like some of the bottom levels of the Premier League. That's a good player, really good player. I mean, he's played in the Bundesliga. He's played all over the place. Look at this guy. He's played Serie A. He's played in Portugal. He's played in the Championship. He only played 3 games for the Championship Bournemouth, though, interestingly enough. I guess they bought him. Yeah, because he's at Bournemouth now. Yeah, right. So they bought him for 4.3 mil. Man, they've spent a lot of money on this guy. He's played, I mean, he was in the Premier League. Oh, because Bournemouth made it to Premier, fair enough. I technically made 1 appearance there. And then he was in the Bundesliga last season. So, I mean, he knows he can play at a high level. I just don't know, guys. You know what? Sometimes I just feel like you got to YOLO a little bit, right? I mean, what else are we going to do? We sold Nuttall, and let's say one of those other guys that we sold for about 175,000. They're basically paying for this guy. Do I think this guy's worth those 2 guys? Honestly, he might be. And we do have some other youngsters that are coming up that we could sell on to make up some of the money as well. I think this is okay. I'm going to go for it. I think it's crazy, but I also think it's I got to have a star player. Come on. We got to have somebody who's amazing. I like Dickinson. I like Kamara. I think they're going to be good. But in fact, we can go take a look at the squad planner right now. Kamara, Dickinson, they're both kind of competing for that striker spot. They can both play all across this front line. Richie, honestly, Richie probably gets relegated. Not relegated. He probably gets moved down a little bit to make room for one of these guys if we get this new striker in here. Taberner also probably moves down if we get one of those 2 loany right backs or right wingers. We like Taberner. We like these guys. Don't get me wrong. Taberner's going to get game time. He's still got some room to develop. He still could be worth something to us, in the long term. Richie. He's still got plenty of room to develop. He could still be worth something to us in the long run. So these guys are guys I want to continue to develop, but we shall see. Technically, Chilvers is an attacking midfielder. Sorry, I just went the wrong thing. Technically, Chilvers is an attacking midfielder, I think is his primary. Yeah. So I mean, we might want to move him up here, but he actually got a better rating on this left hand side. So maybe he moves over to the left hand side instead. We've got a lot of options. A lot of these guys are very, very flexible. A lot of room to move around. I'm pretty happy with our defense. Looks like it's all 3 stars across the board. Sturge on the left, Matheson on right, Foran and Katongo in the middle. That's a pretty solid setup. We got Chizoba as an option on that left-hand side. We know he can play too. So I'm mostly happy with this. I mean, it would have been nice to have an extremely amazing star player there, but that's not here nor there, I guess. Probably not going to get that. I did try some. I actually had a couple players that we could have gotten, but they decided to go for other people. Honestly, I probably lost 10 players to other clubs that we went in on, either through loan or for free or even paying a little bit of money, and they all just decided to go somewhere else. So our reputation is definitely hurting us a little bit. But, I mean, our weakness is our attacking midfielder on the right-hand side, if you want to just go based off star rating. I mean, Taberner is, not quite there. So we definitely want to get that guy. Oyedel is a better ball-winning midfielder, so he covers that right-hand side. Chilvers is a good box-to-box, so he covers the left-hand side. Hurd looks shocky. He'll be fine as an advanced playmaker. And, maybe Richie here. But honestly, like I said, Dickinson Kamara could also play there. In fact, we can take a look at... I'm not going to pull them in here right now, but we know that they can play there. All right, well, that's it, guys. We're not going to have this guy for this first game, and we're also not going to have those other two. We're not going to have McCallum or Hurd, whichever one we hopefully end up with. We're not going to have either of them in this first game, preferably McCallum, because obviously he's a better player. But if we get McCallum in bats, my goodness, this is going to be awesome. We're going to have a really solid team. But here is a potential. I mean, we're still staying the same formation. Here's a potential first lineup. Again, we might swap out this guy for Dickinson instead. We like Dickinson a lot. Kamara is not doing something great through the preseason, but it is just preseason, so it's hard to say anything. We did win a game against Middlesbrough. Yay, their championship level team. Did they really bring their starters? Probably not. We also won a game against Brentford, who is a Premier level team. Does it really mean anything? I doubt it. But again, Dickinson picking up a pair of goals there. He gets a goal there. He gets a goal against Derby there. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows if any of this means anything? First game up is against Cardiff, and then we'll show the Carabao First Cup. Why not? Swindon here. League One team. It's another League One team. So if we can play well against them, then we're going to face them down here anyway. So we'll probably show that in the next episode. Papa John's Trophy, we are in a group with Fulham, under 21s, Charlton, Crawley, and I guess that's it, right? There's 4 of us. Other than that, we don't know anything else yet. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to show you. The preseason preview. So the season preview does have us as one of the 4 that is most likely to get relegated. To be fair, we are the other 2 of the other 3 are the teams that came up with us, Notts County and Cheltenham. The only team that looks like it might escape relegation is Sheffield Wednesday. But we typically, we really do typically overachieve what the odds say for us. So I'm hoping for, at least a lower mid-table sort of finish. Definitely just escaping relegation, not really worrying about relegation too much. I mean, we should be better than Cheltenham. We should be better than Notts County. I mean, if AVC Wimbledon's below us, I would assume we're better than them. So, yeah. I think all we have to do is beat Wycombe, Chesterfield, Lincoln, one of those 3 teams. Or what? Sheffield Wednesday. We've beat them before. And we'll be all right. So, there we go. Not much else to say. My brain is tired because I've been doing this for several hours now. Transfer windows take a long time, guys. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about the current transfers. Let me know what you think about that striker. Is it worth bringing him in? Spending all that extra money for him? That he's just going to go away at the end of the season? I don't know. I kind of want to do it just because it's going to be the most fun, I think, path. But it may not be the wisest path. Plus, I think we've done pretty good with the finances. So even if we splurge a little bit on him, I think we'll be okay. We've done pretty decent with the finances, and I think we can build him back up. I mean, the projection doesn't look great, but it's not accounting for a few, aspects that we might, some prize money and things like that we might be able to bring in here. Plus, we're going to sell some other players. That's inevitable. So there you go, guys. I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you, and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to the following channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.